Damon Martin, MMA fighting, and last Saturday night was a crazy event. My guest today, I'm so glad to talk to him. He is the new UFC bantamweight champion of the world, and one of my favorite interviews always, Aljamain Sterling. Aljo, welcome back. Thank you so much for doing this, and boy, do we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, it's been an interesting 72 hours.
Absolutely. First off, before we get to anything else, how are you feeling? Because, I mean, you took a pretty brutal knee strike in that fight. I got to imagine the concussion. I don't know. You tell me, how are you feeling today?
I feel better today. I mean, just a little, what would you call it? Foggy, I guess. Just like, I guess more like pressure than anything. But it's like very faint. But I also, from last night, I didn't get to celebrate Saturday because, I mean, obviously it was nothing to really celebrate, but I didn't get to celebrate like just everyone being out there, and just having a good training camp, So I didn't get to celebrate with my friends and family because I had just had a serious concussion and I didn't want to drink and make anything worse. And then I ended up throwing up later, a couple hours later anyway. So from that, I actually took the time because I didn't drink Saturday. I didn't drink Sunday. And then, what was yesterday? Yesterday, Monday, I had a couple of drinks last night. And so I don't know if it's probably a mixture between both, but I still have my girlfriend here and a couple of friends, and I want to at least enjoy some time with some people, the way I normally do. So I decided to drink last night, and I don't know. I'm still unsure of where everything is at. We're taking concussion protocols and everything and tests at the PI, and hopefully everything comes back great.
Yeah, I know concussions are funny things, man. Some people are affected by them for weeks, months, years sometimes, and other people get past them really quick. There's no rhyme or reason to a concussion. That's kind of the scary thing about it, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm pretty sure you remember TJ Grant. He had a title shot lined up, and then something happened to him in training, I believe it was, and he had a concussion that he never came back from, and he never ended up fighting for a world title. And I think that's when they just had the merger of like the WC and the UFC. So it's pretty unfortunate for something like that. And I look at guys like that, and Chris Holdsworth, and I just want to make sure that that doesn't happen to me. I mean, I was eating Jan's biggest shots, and he's supposed to be this big power punch. I'm not saying he doesn't hit hard, but I was able to take it, roll with some of those shots. Some of them did stick, meaning I didn't roll with them, and they actually landed flush. And some of them I got to roll with it a little bit and take some of those strikes off. And I kept coming forward the entire fight. I was the one pushing forward. And unfortunately, after I landed those two head kicks, I decided to shoot again and try to change up the tempo instead of just striking. I want to change the tempo and see if I can maybe trip him up and get him down and try to get the hooks in and try to win back the round, even though the fourth round was definitely going his way. But I did have some moments in that fight, in that round. And then when I was down there, that was like the third time we were in that position. And this time he decides to throw the knee. I was just really confused because I remember Mark specifically, he's like saying out loud, and I'm pretty sure everyone heard it, and he's a downed opponent or something like he's down. I remember him saying the word down, and then he blasted me like a couple seconds later. So that threw me for a loop, and here we are.
We'll come back to the knee in a second. Let me talk about the start of the fight, the game plan going in, because obviously you had a very strong start. You were out of the gates really, really quick. Obviously a lot of volume being thrown, a lot of activity, and credit to Peter. He was able to persevere that. Obviously I know he caught you with a good shot later, but kind of give me the idea, like how you felt you were doing up to that point.
I felt I was doing great. Statistically, I doubled up on him, and I think I might have even tripled his output in the first round. And the second round, I think I doubled him. So when I look at that, I know I did well. The only thing that bothered me was I started getting lazy with some stuff because I had a little success, and then I started throwing so many spinning elbow attacks because I've been trying so much in training and then just pulling it. And then I was just trying to throw it from everywhere in the fight. It just felt like I had nothing to worry about. I don't know if there was like almost like I felt so comfortable or safe that I could try those attacks without feeling the fear of the repercussions, like if I were to miss kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but in hindsight, had I not have done those things, you take away his takedown that he got where he lifted me and dropped me on my neck. I was like, I can't believe I let this guy slam me on my neck like that. That was like some rookie shit. The foot sweep where he caught my kick because I didn't pull it back fast enough, and he tripped me up, and then we were on the ground for a little bit in that standing and one guy down. And even in the second and third round, when I started just giving him my back because I do like slow spinning elbow attacks. So if I assess my performance, the things I did wrong, the things he did right, I was right in that fight. The fight started to get ugly like in the third and the fourth round where I was just getting tripped left and right. And then the fourth round where he actually started to land like consistently big shots. And that's where things looked bad for me, but I was still coming forward, still offering offense. And credit to Tian, he weathered the early storm, but that's an output I do in training time in and time out. Like every day, I can do that all day long. The difference was when I do that, I don't put a lot of power behind my punches to not fatigue myself. Everything is just to mask, get my takedown. And that was the game plan, and take the free shots where I can sit on some punches or sit on some kicks. And I was doing well. And for some reason, I couldn't, something felt weird with the takedown attempts where I felt like I was sliding all over the canvas, where I was tripping. I threw a front kick and I fell on my back. I tried to step over for the single leg and he pushed my head and I went falling. It was like the most sloppy performance I think I've ever had to date. And I think other than that, you take away the mistakes I made that are very fixable, I'm right in that fight. There's nothing that he offered where I was like, damn, I'm outclassed. I'm outmatched. I can't change this. I can't get better. You know what I mean? So I try to be very analytical when I assess my fights, and I try to watch it almost as soon as I got home back to the house when everyone kind of left.
Yeah. And I know you said on your podcast, you talked about your nutrition as well. You felt kind of weird as well, talking about you didn't eat before the fight. And maybe, like, again, I know you're not making any excuses, but like in terms of like why your conditioning was kind of off in a way.
Yeah, I normally just eat breakfast for all my fights. I've been doing this since college wrestling too, because I find that whenever I do eat, I overeat, and then I'm ready to puke in the mat, or I puke right before the match. And I made this adjustment years ago where it's just been a thing I've done. And Marab always tells me, he's like, brother, you have to eat. I'm like, dude, it's okay. You know, I've done this. My body's kind of used to it. Maybe it's not the best thing. There was a previous sparring session where I did that. We sparred about 1 o'clock. I did 5 rounds. I didn't feel good going in because I didn't eat. And just on a straight up water load before training, just like binging on water, and then trying to spar with Marab and these other killers. And I got through it, but it was one of my worst sparring sessions. And maybe that is something that has something to do with it. Because instead, where I eat my breakfast, and I'm usually fighting at 4, 5 o'clock or 6, this time I didn't fight till about 8:30. So my last meal was at 10:30 a.m. And to not eat till all the way then, I didn't eat till I got home from the hospital, which was not till about 11:20, 11:30. So I don't know. Maybe that could be the whole issue right there. That could honestly be the whole thing. But you never know. These things are so tricky. You have to do everything so right. It's to a scientific T to just have the perfect peak of a performance. And that's why I love the sport, because you never know who's going to be better on that night. And it makes me feel good that I know if that is the best Jan, that if that I was only a shell of myself, I know what I'm capable of and what I can bring to the table. I just have to dial a couple things in, and good things will happen.
Yeah. Now, the knee strike that happened, as soon as it happened, I was, we all kind of knew it was I said on Twitter, I said it was very, very illegal. And obviously, and then as soon as you went down, I said right away, I said, stop the fight. It's just, you got blasted hard, and the replay made it even clearer to me, like how hard you got blasted when I saw your head get snapped back like that. What do you remember about that? Because I know when you get hit like that, you probably don't remember a lot, or maybe you remember everything, but I know a lot of times you don't remember much. What do you remember after that?
right on impact, because I didn't see the knee. I had kind of like my head down, grabbing the hands, hand fighting, and just waiting for a clear path to kind of like for him to back up before I felt space that I could stand up safely so that I can avoid that. I wanted to avoid that. And instead he blasted me anyway. So it was a moot point. I got hit, saw a big flashlight, like white light. I go down. I remember hearing some voices, and then I start to realize it was Mark that was talking to me, and I was just kind of like, how much time do I have? I laid down so that the room could stop like spinning, because it was a little fuzzy, and I wasn't like spinning like super dizzy, but I was definitely like disoriented, where I was like, yeah, let me just lay down for a second, let this calm down and see if I could recollect myself. I remember asking for the interview because I just wanted to apologize to my friends and family that were here. And I don't even remember the freaking interview at all. I have no recollection of that. And it's crazy. I remember sitting down. I apologized. I don't even remember. I just remember me apologizing. I don't remember what Joe asked me. Not a thing. And then next thing you know, I'm in an ambulance, and they were trying to have me right out on the stretcher, and I got flashbacks to the Marlon Moraes fight. Even though I don't remember that sequence, I just didn't want to lay on the stretcher, and I was like, I will walk to the ambulance and then jump in that thing. And my coach Longo told me that Mark Smith came out to check on me. I don't remember that. But I thought that was really nice of him to do that, and I appreciate him coming out to just check on me in the back when I was outside.
Yeah, so you actually don't even remember the interview itself. Like actually doing the post-fight interview, you have no memory of that.
I remember sitting down, and I remember just apologizing. I think I was babbling. Honestly, I don't know what was actually said. Like I couldn't remember the words that were actually used. I remember when the doctor asked me if everything was spinning, I said, I don't know, because I'm laying down. And I remember them saying no interview because he's concussed. And I was like, no, let me. But I think I just said that out of just emotion, just like I just want to just talk and not even knowing what the hell I'm even going to say. I just knew all I remember was I wanted to apologize. That was it. And even though I didn't do anything wrong, I just, everyone came out, and yeah, that was it.
Now, everyone obviously is having an opinion on the ability of you to continue or not continue in that moment, and it kind of disappointed me to see some of the fighters weigh in and saying some of the things they said. Although I did see a lot of people, come to your defense as well and say, listen, you took a hell of a shot. I spoke to Anthony Smith yesterday, who went in a similar situation as you with the John Jones fight. Now, obviously, what damage is done is different, but the one thing he brought up to me. And I thought overall Mark Smith did a solid job. One thing he brought up to me is like, I don't think the fighters should be in a position where they have to make that decision. If Aljo is that hurt and he's done, the referees should just make that call, because they're putting the onus back on you to basically decide, can you continue or not? When, like I said, as soon as I saw the shot hit, I was like, done, stop the fight. It's over. Like, there's no way you should be allowed to continue. Even if you said, let me continue, I said there's no way he should be allowed to continue. Anthony said the referee should take more responsibility in that moment and make the call. Agree or disagree?
I agree. I think it depends on the impact, the orientation of the fighter. A couple of things I would imagine should factor into that decision. And I don't think I should have made that decision, because what I wanted to do was just give me as much time as I could have possibly gotten. The 5 minutes, bring in the doctor, let me get some time extra with just talking to the doctor so that I could get a little bit more time. And if I could recover, then I would have tried to fight. Whether or not that would have been the right career decision in terms of my health, probably wouldn't have gotten any better for me at all, but, maybe there would have been a 1 point or 2 point deduction, and I could have tried to just circle and stall the fifth round if I was coherent enough. Because again, I was laying down, if I had got on my toes and started bouncing again, I don't know what that would have looked like. I really don't. And that's my honest, true opinion about the whole thing. I think I like to think that my fans know me as someone who's very transparent and always tells the truth when it comes to like social media, things like that, being able to open up about personal stuff. And I really don't know how I would have been able to recover from a clean knee like that, especially when I didn't see it. It's almost like being hit in the back of the head when you're just walking down the street, you know? So I don't know, man. It's a tough thing. I don't think the fighter should have that responsibility, because most of us, probably all of us, are going to say, no, let me continue. When a lot of people, they do wish that they had a little bit of a, what would you call, like a safety net to kind of fall back on, so that they don't have to look like they're quitting, you know? And I know the situation was similar to his, but every situation, the impact, the position of the strike, not the position of the strike, the position, the point of impact where it actually hits the head, it's all different, man. All concussions are not created equal. And it's just like we've seen with COVID. Not all COVID victims are the same. So the people who can't understand that, they're fucking stupid. And that's the best way to put it. Everyone thinks they're a freaking doctor until shit happens to them. So let me put you on your knee. Let me have you close your eyes and tell you that you're about to get a present, so that you don't expect it. You're in a happy state, in a relaxed state, and then you get cracked with a freaking baseball bat of a knee to your head. And you tell me how that makes you feel when I tell you got to get up and continue to fight because you're acting.
Yeah. So now, post-fight, I'm not gonna sit here and ask you to react to every single thing that's been said from Peter Yan to TJ Dillashaw and everyone else out there. But here's my biggest problem with what's been going on is that everything has been put back onto you in terms of the responsibility of whether or not that fight should have continued. Obviously, you had no judgment whatsoever in making the call of the result, meaning, he could have just easily said it's going to be a no contest and not a disqualification. You have no place in that. But the criticism, and listen, I don't know Peter Yan. I don't know him I think I've interviewed him a couple times, but I don't know him. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a dirty fighter. He's a bad guy. I have no idea. But the onus is on him. The foul is on him. It's logically his fault. Now, does that mean that he shouldn't get a rematch or anything? I'm not going to weigh in on that. But what I'm saying is, like, it just seems like the blame is going more on your shoulders than him for actually throwing the illegal knee. And that, to me, has been the thing that's bugged me the most about all of this.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And you're hearing things from John McCarthy, who, by the way, thinks he is God's sent gift to earth, who thinks he's never wrong, thinks he's the best referee, and thinks he's never made a bad decision. The guy's out of his mind. The stuff that guy says, absolutely ridiculous sometimes. And the fact that he has such a big following and people listen to him almost as if it's a cult, it's so troubling and concerning, because the guy is a regular person. He makes mistakes. And some of the stuff he said, when you listen to him, it's like, dude, how far up your own ass can one person actually be? Then I'm hearing the stuff. I just saw the one today from Ari Hawani in DC talking about I'm parading around and bolstering a belt. One, show me one post on my social media or any tweet where I'm boasting about winning anything or celebrating anything. I'm happy my friends came to my house. Had about 30 plus people at my house. They were all excited to see me. I didn't even see the belt because I left it in the octagon. Somehow it showed up at my house. They brought it over while I'm eating chicken, and you can see when I'm licking my fingers, and they're like, yo, open it. And I'm like, I really don't want to do this. And next thing you know, there's also about 30 cameras out. So they're all expecting this big reaction for me to be, yeah, I'm the champ. I'm like, they're like, yo, just celebrate it. Yo, you earned this. You got this. Please, bro, just enjoy the night. Yo, you work so hard. I get all that, but I don't feel like a winner. But they're there. They want to take a picture with me holding the bell. I'm just like, yeah, I don't feel like a champ. But if you guys feel this is going to make you guys feel happy or whatever, just know I'm not posting any of this. I'm not reposting any of this because I don't feel like I don't think I did anything. The fight was starting to go in the favor of Peter Yan. He was starting to get the better of me, and in a clear-cut way. And I don't think the performance was good enough for me to be like, yeah, it was a foul, but I should be celebrating because it was a close fight. It was a close fight up until the fourth round, and then things started to get ugly. So I can admit that. I know I don't need to lie to myself, So when they're saying stuff like that, and these guys are the all-powerful people saying, I'm painting a picture like I don't want a rematch from Ariel Helwani. Ariel, shut the fuck up. You don't know what it's like to even be a freaking athlete. Like, shut up, let alone a fighter, talking about what I should and shouldn't be doing. You're telling me this doesn't look good? Show me what I did that doesn't look good. What did I do? What did I post that doesn't look good? Me complaining that I got hit with an illegal knee? Yeah. I think rightfully so. Anybody would be doing that. So if these guys want to take pictures of a belt that I'm just looking at, not like me over here like, yeah, I didn't do any of that. Oh, you're drinking. No, I didn't. I had a champagne. I took a sip. I toasted everyone. Thank you for coming out. I'm sorry the fight went this way. This is not, the best performance. I had a shitty performance. Hopefully the next time is the best one. I get another opportunity and I can validate the belt. And I said, I can validate this belt and actually be able to hold this up. And I put the belt down. We did the toast, took my sip, put the belt down. And a couple hours later, I ended up throwing up in the bathroom. So that's my celebration. Ariel Helwani, Daniel Cormier, and everybody else who thinks I'm parading around with, shut the fuck up. You have no idea what you're talking about. So again, the fight will happen and this will get settled. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. In the aftermath of that, obviously, and listen, I get it. Tempers are hot, and I understand. Peter Yan wants the rematch, and I understand all that. Just sometimes I almost feel like in a post fight, sometimes I feel like people should have their social media accounts taken away from them. Just like let it cool down and give it a couple days, and maybe we come back and revisit the situation. But now, obviously, you got to go through the concussion protocol. You got to get healthy. You got to make sure your head's right because, again, you just took a really, really, really nasty shot. Is that it? The rematch is next. That is the obvious goal.
I haven't spoken to Dana outside of that night, and I texted him while I was in the hospital on morphine, drugged up on morphine. I texted him, I want to run this back ASAP as soon as possible. And I said, I'm sorry, boss. I want to run this back. Yeah, I'm sorry, boss. I want to run this back as soon as possible. And I wasn't even thinking about anything. I wasn't thinking about my head. I wasn't thinking about anything, But I would like to fight him again. I do think I have his number in terms of my stylistic matchup. I might not have been able to do what I wanted to with the takedowns, but there was a couple of things that were preventing that. And I felt like a shell of myself that day. Kudos to Jan. He showed up to fight, as did I. My performance and the shape that I came in, something was lacking on that day. Hopefully we get to do it again, and the best versions of both of us get to show up so that we can give the fans the show that they deserve. Because that first round should have been how the whole fight would have went, and I think I would have eventually finished him. I keep that pace in training, and the fact that they were commentating and saying Aljo can't keep this pace, I'm like, you guys don't even know what you're talking about. Like from that fight, yeah, it looked bad, but to say like I can do that because I've done it. This is not like some guy that just randomly got up and say, I'm gonna just try to randomly do this, something I've never trained for on a title fight, the biggest moment of my life, and do something completely random and let's just see what happens. No, I'm an actual, I analyze fights, I break them down. This is what I do. I know the keys and paths to victory. And unfortunately, my body just didn't let me do what it should have done. And sometimes that happens. Any place, any time. That night, I was willing to die in there, and how I've showed up. So there was no quitting me. And hopefully we get to run this back. I don't know when it's going to be. As long as I get cleared sooner rather than later, that would be nice. But I'm not going to rush it. The head is something special, and I would like to be able to have my wits about me when I have my kids so I can have coherent conversations and actually be able to play with them. So Peter Yan's got kids, so I'm pretty sure he understands that and he knows the importance of that in family. So eventually we'll run it back. I like Yan. I think we're both pretty similar. We're both tough. We don't quit. And we both are bull busters. We both like to crack jokes and have fun. But when it comes time to fight, we both show up to fight. And I respect that about him. I'm sure he respects that about me. And I think he's seen that about me in that octagon now. And I look forward to the rematch.
With that being said, I'm curious because again, you guys did have some fun banter before the fight. I don't think it never really got personal. You guys were kind of having fun with it. It never got to like Conor Khabib levels of like, taking really, really nasty personal shots at each other. But in the aftermath of that, with some of the things that have been said in terms of, you not being able to continue and the post-fight stuff and all that, the celebration, whatever it is, has your opinion of Peter Yan changed at all?
No. I think he's a tough dude. I sometimes I wonder if he really is a dirty fighter or not, though. I do question that. That is the one thing, because you're trying to tell me you got to a championship level, you don't know the rules, you can't look to see if an opponent is down or not. That does not need a translation from your corner. That's something as common sense as, hey, this guy is still down, or hey, let me back up and I can take a better look, reset the position, or try to advance to the back of me, or something like that. It's not a hard thing to figure out. So the fact that he did that is just negligence. And the fact that John McCarthy could even back that up and say this shouldn't have been a disqualification. So Big John McCarthy, because I'm Axe Big John McCarthy, hashtag Axe BJM, because he's just this alter ego thing, persona. Like I said, I don't have an issue with him, but I have an issue when he thinks that he's always right. Dude, you're a person. You can be wrong, and you have been in the past. But when do you ever disqualify an athlete or a team? When? If you're going to always just say, no, I would have just brought it to the judges. I would just brought it to the judges. So nothing intentional that was done can ever be disqualified. I just don't understand why is there rules for and grounds for disqualification if you're never going to enforce it? So I can just get away with everything, and hopefully by the end of the fight, it's in my favor and I can just win on a judge's decision. That's bullshit, complete bullshit. And I'm not saying I wanted to win the belt. I thought the fight was going to be a no contest. I wanted a no contest. I expected a no contest. But the DQ, it's reasonable for a guy who threw an intentional, illegal foul. Simple as that. So I don't know where's this wiggle room for, well, I don't think Jan knew. You don't think he knew. Oh, you don't say. You don't think the world champion didn't know? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot he's only been doing this for years. My bad, Big John. You know it all. My bad. You know better of the situation because you just know better. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I heard your coach, Matt Serra, address that today. I feel like Matt might be coming out of retirement is all I'm saying. Maybe we see that one. With that being said, this is an incredibly difficult question to ask you, Aljo, and I almost feel bad asking it because you're in an impossible situation. No matter what you say is going to be scrutinized. But now that we've had a couple of days, the night of the fight, as soon as Dana put the belt on you, you were literally reaching for it to take it off as he was putting it on you. And I was like, geez, like that tells you like right there the emotion of what's going on here. But it's been a couple of days. Do you feel like the bantamweight champion right now?
I mean, by default, I don't feel like I really want anything. I mean, I was talking about this with the guys, and I said the irony here is that Corey Sandhagen and I should have been the ones that were fighting for that vacant title in the first place. So technically I should have been going into this fight as a champ against Jan, but that's neither here or there. We're here in the situation now. But do I feel like a champ? No. Do I feel like I cheated? I feel like I've been wrongfully assaulted in a fight against the rules. And is that deemed or worthy enough to be deemed a disqualification? I think so. But does that make me feel like I'm a winner? If I got beat to pillar to post and then I got handed something, does that make me feel like a winner? Absolutely not. I didn't do anything, But the fight was competitive. I still don't think I was on the losing end coming that fourth round. I was given the belt via technicalities, and that doesn't do it for me. That doesn't make me feel like a world champ at all. So that belt's sitting there collecting dust until the day we get to actually fight and make things right. And then from there, we'll see who really should be the number one guy in this division right now.
Yeah, well, the reality is, and the one thing I will say is, you go into the rematch as champion, you do get championship money, you get championship sponsorship, and I think that's only right. I think that's absolutely warranted. I don't think that like I said, I don't know Peter Yan well enough to say whether he's a dirty fighter or he's a bad guy, any of that kind of stuff, but you do something illegal and you get a foul, you got to get punished for it. In that particular case, the foul was so bad you couldn't continue. I said back in the day when Dustin Poirier got blasted with a knee from Eddie Alvarez, I said I didn't understand that being a no contest. I thought it should have been a disqualification. I didn't understand that call. Now, I think Herb Dean's a tremendous referee, but he made the call. The night of your fight, I said, it's over, disqualified. And I don't say that because I dislike Peter Yan. I say it because it was an egregious foul.
Those are the rules. Like, how are we the bad guys for enforcing the rules? What other sport is like this? I don't know. It's sad. Like, I love the sport, but sometimes I can hate it so much because of the people that are involved. It's just like social media makes you realize how uncommon common sense is out there in the world. And then when you're in a sport like this, you can see how just people are just not all there in the head. And a lot of these guys are judges, they're refs, they're fighters, they're coaches, and you can see all the zoo. You want to see the zoo of MMA? You go to a gym, you can see all the tomfoolery that goes on. It's crazy. It's baffling. So sometimes I wonder, it's like, I don't even understand how so-and-so got to any position of power. And you can say that about a lot of things, because there are a lot of people in other jobs and career fields that are like that as well. But being that this sport is such a niche, it just feels like this is just overrun with that. And like I said, when is it ever warranted to be disqualified? And it seems like those rules never get enforced. It's like the eye poke rules. Like, why make all these fouls and say you're going to take a point? If you're going to tell us we can't do that and you're never going to take a point, why don't I just poke the guy in the eye and kick him in the balls to begin the fight? All right, now we're good. Now we can get the fight going, because you're not going to take a point anyway. So I have nothing to be afraid of. Nothing at all. It makes no sense. If there's a foul in basketball, the foul happens. It isn't hey, that's a warning on this travel. Hey, that's a warning on this penalty. Now these guys are going to shoot this free throw. It doesn't work like that. A foul is a foul. A penalty is a penalty. You don't get to pick and choose when you get to decide to take the points. That doesn't make sense. You commit the foul, you commit the crime. For me, it's pretty black and white.
Yeah, I joke all the time. Maybe I shouldn't joke. I joke all the time. I said that I feel like a fighter should start coming out of the corner and immediately just go up and kick a field goal into the groin, because no one ever gets punished for a groin strike the first time around. I joke. I'm like, no one ever gets punished for that. You should just literally run across the octagon, kick your opponent in the groin, because no one ever gets punished for that.
Yeah, I agree. It's fascinating. Like I said, there's rules for a reason, and they don't get heavily enforced. And even in the back room, I made sure I said to Mark a couple of times, myself and my coach, like, hey, Mark, I know you see how Jan fights, and he puts his fingers out a lot. He's poked guys in the eyes before. I don't need to get a detached retina because this guy doesn't know how to close his freaking fingers. Make sure this guy's making a fist. I'm going to punch him right in his freaking fingers and try to break them shits, So please address it right away. I don't need to get poked and then have the fight compromised because this guy has bad tendencies. And I don't know, like, rules are there for a reason. If you're not going to force them, then just be done with them. Just be done with them.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you real quick before I get you out of here, I'm not going to, as I said, I'm not going to ask you to react to every single thing that's been said after the fight, but I will ask you this. I know there was an interaction with Henry Cejudo afterwards, and he actually issued an apology yesterday. Heat of the moment, he apologized to you. Do you accept his apology for what he said?
I understood what he was saying. He said the same thing. He thought I was hoisting up a belt, which I wasn't. These guys, everyone's coming to me as if I was the one posting on my social media, acting and parading around like I'm the champ. I've never once done that. So I guess he probably looked back at that, and we spoke in person too, and we briefly touched on that. And I was like, dude, you think I feel good about walking around with that belt? You think I'm walking around with that belt? I'm not even messaging anyone. I'm not having my managers message anyone. at least that I know of, telling people like, hey, I'm the champion. I got this guy who's a champ of the world. Right? I'm like, dude, I don't even feel right even saying those words. I haven't updated my bio because to me, I'm still the number 1 ranked guy and I need to fight for the belt. And we're going to do that.
Yeah, we walked around your entire house during the interview. I didn't see the belt, man. So see, I know you're not. I know you're not just holding it up and like have it hanging on the wall. Like, oh, by the way, here's this belt. Like I haven't seen it yet. So I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you're not sitting there, touting it and holding it up, and you've not been wearing it during this interview. So I think that pretty much answers the question.
Yeah, I could have done that and been the ultimate troll, but that's just not me, man. The other stuff with Henry Cejudo trolling him, that was trolling because I kind of want to get a rise out of the Russian fans because they're just so freaking annoying. The whole thing with the Oscars and whatnot. And the other thing, the other guy, Mighty Mouse, giving his input. It was like, dude, you're talking about you shouldn't be able to stall a fight. This isn't ONE FC championships. We're in the UFC. You know the rules. You know you wouldn't knee a downed opponent. So why are you making it sound like there should be an excuse? You shouldn't be able to stall the fight. So what should he do? Tell me what I would like to know from Mighty Mouse, what should be allowed then? Because if it's not ONE FC rules and this is within the rules that I can stay down there to safely get up, that's not stalling the fight. That's me trying to safely get up. I'm not going to just get up and get blasted in the face, which ended up happening anyway. But you would think someone with his type of experience would understand that, but I guess he just thinks he's been fighting for ONE FC for so long. He thinks that it should just be accepted all across the board. So unless he's saying that we should propose that change, that's different. Because then if I'm in that position, I'm pulling guard. I'm not staying in that position. Now I have to fight differently because I train to know when I'm in that position, I'm safe for a specific amount of time. As long as I'm not playing the game, the up and down game, I'm safe. And I just got to get up safely and not take damage so that I can give more damage. And that's the name of the game. We're in the fight business. Do damage, take less of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, not that you need anyone's validation, much less mine. I don't think you should feel bad about anything. Like I said, I felt like the fight should have been stopped immediately after you took the shot. I don't blame you for anything like that. And like I said, the only thing that's irritated me post-fight has been the reaction from everyone else. As I said, I don't know Peter Yan. Don't know if he's a good guy, bad guy. I don't know that about him, but like I said, if we want to place blame, place it on the guy who committed the foul, not the guy who got blasted with a knee in an illegal shot. And obviously you are not the referee. You don't get to call it a disqualification. So, like I said, there's a lot that if we're going to pass around blame, there's a lot of blame you can pass around. I don't think you're the one who should be fielding that.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, the smart fans know, man, like I know there's smart fans out there, but then there are some that are just like, I'm just like mind blown. I don't even get it. Like some of the stuff that they're saying, I just don't get the death threats that they're giving to us and not to Jan for being the numbnut who he's the dingling for actually doing that. It's him, So we didn't do anything wrong. If anything, we should be, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I look forward to the rematch. I know it's going to happen down the road. First and foremost, man, get healthy. That's the most important thing because obviously, like I said, a concussion, something like that, it affects everybody differently. Take it seriously. I know you are, but take it seriously because that is something that, long-term effects, as you mentioned. So make sure you're healthy, get back. Looking forward to the rematch down the road. And thank you so much for doing this today, Aljamain. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to say congratulations. Like I said, man, this is a rare achievement. I don't care how it happened. Enjoy it as best you can is all I can say. Enjoy it as best you can because, again, I know you didn't ask for this, but I know this has been a lifelong dream. It's not how you wanted to get there, but you should still at least appreciate the moment a little bit. And thank you so much again for doing this. I really do appreciate it.